What did your parents do for a living?
My mom, she worked at like a telephone company. Uh, my dad, he was a chef, but also like he was like a pastor. Like he had like his own church type of shit.
Did they want you to follow their footsteps or fields?
Shit, when I was younger, my dad and my mom always thought I would like have something to do with church or like some type like be a pastor or something. I guess I don't know.
What was their reaction when you didn't go that route?
I mean, at first, like my mom, she always wanted me to stay in school and like that type of shit, like go to college, all that. And I told her I was like, yeah, like like I'm not doing that. Like I'm trying to make music. You know what I'm saying? So like, you know how parents are at the beginning, like they're kind of like skeptical. So she was always kind of skeptical, but then like she started seeing me like this shit happen, like, me getting money and shit. So she supports me though now, like 100%.
At what point was the turning point when she goes and flips?
Man, probably around like 2018, 2017, probably around there. Cause like I started actually being able to like buy my own stuff and like make my own moves. Like I was getting like actual salary. I had like a job for like maybe like a month or two because of her. And I quit that shit.
And that was the only job you ever had?
Yeah, I didn't even want to work. I never wanted to work a job. Like I was already making money, but she didn't like understand. So she made me get that job. It was like at some trampoline, like Urban Air. That's what it's called. But it's like one of the trampoline parks. And like I hated that shit. Like I just walked out like one day. I was like, this is stupid as fuck. I just walked out.
Did you collect that last check?
Yeah, I got the last check for sure. But after that, I was gone.
Was your boss angry the way you left?
I don't know. I never talked to him. I that ass just like left. Didn't even tell him nothing. I was like, fuck this. Never came back.
Did they try to call you? Did they try to reach out? Where were you? Things of that nature?
Yeah, they did. Now that I think about it, I think he was mad. He texted like people who went to like who knew me that worked there to ask them like where the fuck I was, and like I think he was kind of mad about it, but I don't give a fuck.
And your mother got you that job?
Nah, she just told me like I need to get a job. Like she wanted me to get a job, so I went and got one. That was the place I went to. Like it was so easy. I walked in there. I had on some like Jordan 4s or some shit, and I just walked in there and like he was just like, I fuck with those shoes. I was like, thanks. He was like, those are my favorite shoes. And then he was just like, you wanna work here? I was like, yeah. So let me work there. It was easy as fuck.
Now, out of all places you could have inquired about a job, what got you to that place, Urban Air?
It wasn't anything specific. I just didn't want to work in no like fast food and nothing like that. Like no retail or no shit. Like that's just like the most easy job. Like just stand around and monitor the little kids jumping around and shit.
There are some people that can't stand working with little kids.
Yeah, I don't really like working with little kids, but there at least like it was kind of fun because I could like jump around and like play the dodgeball and shit. All the little kids like they fucked with me. Like they thought I was, I don't know. They just thought I was cool. So like they always would, every time they would come there, they'd be hyped to see me and shit. And I played dodgeball and shit like that.
Did you ever hurt the kids?
Shit, I didn't hurt them, but when we played dodgeball, I would throw the shit hard as fuck. Like, yeah, whack the shit out of them.
Oh, why so hardcore with the dodgeball? Why not take it easy?
I can't help it. That shit's just fun. Like, dodgeball is just fun. You just want to get that hit, and I'm hard as fuck.
And you were 16, 17?
I might have been like 17 when I was working there.
What age range were the kids? Like when you would play dodgeball with?
They would all, I mean, like anybody could go there. So it'd be adults there too, but it was like average though, it'd probably be some kids in like elementary school or maybe like younger, like early grades and shit. But everybody could come there. Like it just depends what type of day it was.
Did other coworkers or employees go hard with dodgeball like you did with the kids, or no?
I mean, like, yeah, everybody had fun. Them little kids throw this shit hard too. Like, they'll whack you too. It's just fun as hell. Sometimes it'd be like all them versus me. I'd be the only one on my side and shit.
How'd you fare?
Yeah. I held my ground, you know?
Were you able to make it all the way without getting taken out?
Nah, like if we're doing that type of shit, it was like not even outs. It just like hitting each other. That's really it.
Did parents ever say anything like, hey, take it easy on my kid?
Nah, they just laugh. They probably would got a kick out of that shit.
And was that job easy or hard?
It was easy as hell. It was just annoying. Like I don't want to work with like kids. Like I didn't want to just stand around all day doing that shit. And like I already knew what I was doing, like music wise and shit. Like all I wanted to do was sit in the house and make beats. That's it. So it was annoying. And like it'd be like some 4-hour shift or something. I could never get like long hours for some reason. So it was just like pointless.
What turned you off from fast food and retail? Because a lot of kids do those.
That's just not me. Like, you know, there's nothing wrong with it, but that's just not me, you know.
Was the job at Urban Air dangerous at all?
Nah, not really. I mean, if I did some stupid shit, like I possibly could get hurt, but I wouldn't do nothing like that.
Did you ever see anyone get hurt on the job?
The kids, yeah. Because they do dumbass shit like climb up on the walls. Like you're not supposed to get on these pads. Like there's the way it's set up, it's like, here's like the building wall, and then like the trampolines, they go up on the walls. And some of the kids would run up and like climb on the walls and hang up there and try to get behind it and shit. So like kids would always get hurt in there.
And it was your job to stop them from doing that?
Yeah, I had to like, that's like one of the things I would do is like make sure they're not tweaking. But there's like multiple, like the way it's set up is like there's monitors. So there'd be like maybe like 3 or 4 people on the floor at once. And then like, yeah.
What was the best thing about this job, if any?
Nothing.
What was the worst thing about this job, if any?
Just the fact that I had to be there. Like, I only did that shit because like my mom was tweaking. And, like, I didn't need that shit. Like, I never needed to get a job. Like, you know.
Aside from Dodgeball, any crazy stories dealing with this job here?
No, I don't think so.
Would you get noticed at your job?
Nah, at that point, I wasn't even like, I didn't really have like a name for myself like that. Like, it was just kind of like on the internet type shit, like YouTube.
So would you say when you did quit, music was the cause of quitting?
Yeah, definitely. And just because like, just a job is not for me. Like, I'm just not meant to work at a job, you know?
If you could, would you ever consider owning an Urban Air yourself?
No.
Why not?
I just don't care to. If what I want to do, what I would own, and at some point what I'm trying to do is have like a garage though, like a shop to work on cars and shit, do customs. Because I fuck with cars heavy.
What kind of cars?
I mean, all of them, but I like, you know, exotics and like foreigns. Just fast shit, luxurious shit.
Now, in the American society, financially, would you describe your upbringing as poor, lower middle class, upper middle class, or rich?
Nah, it's kind of weird. Like, when I was in Houston and I was super, super young, like, shit was straight. Like, we lived, like, in a nice-ass house in Houston. Like, we lived in, like, the same neighborhood as a lot of, like, NBA players and shit. Like a big house. It was cool. And then whatever happened, like, it just got worse and worse and worse. And, like, yeah, to the point where, yeah, we was poor. We didn't have a place to stay at one point. Like, we stayed with my grandma.
Grandma on your mother's side or father's side?
On my mom's side.
Since you were able to experience both, you know, up and down there, what did you learn from this? What did this teach you, looking back?
I mean, I don't know. It's because I was so young when we were, like, on the upside of things, that, like, I don't think it even really, like, fazed me. I'd rather, like, grow up being poor, like, being in poverty and shit like that, than just growing up rich and shit. Like, I think that made me a better person. Like, makes me more, like, respectful and just grateful for shit.
When it was that time when you were living at grandmother's, was that the bottom point, or was there something?
I say that was probably like the bottom point, probably.
You remember how long you stayed there at grandma's?
For a while. I don't, like, I know I was there all the way, I was there in middle school. I was there for a little bit for elementary school. Yeah, I was there for a minute, like for a while.
And how would you cope with that? That
I mean,
bottom point time in your life there
I mean, like, it
financially?
didn't really affect me. Like, I was still straight. Like, you know, we still have food. Like, you know, it wasn't like terrible. And like at that point, I used to skate. Like, I wasn't even making music or nothing. I was skating.
And what age or what grade was this when you actually moved into grandma's?
That's what I'm saying. It probably wasn't because it was like a point where it was like back and forth. Like we were there, and then we moved somewhere else, and then we came back there, and then we were there for that long ass time. I can't like exactly pinpoint when it was, but yeah.
Elementary school time, middle
Probably
school
like, yeah,
time?
like around like elementary school, middle school.
And when it comes to your father, what religion was this?
Like he's Christian.
Was it a certain denomination under Christianity?
I couldn't tell you.
And is this a religion you follow?
I don't put myself under any denomination or anything. I believe in God, but like I don't put myself under, you know.
You were raised though under that church
Yeah.
and religion
Yeah.
growing up?
Mm-hmm.
At what point do you divert?
I won't say I diverted, but it's just probably just when I was just living on my own. Honestly, maybe even before that. It was kind of like, I don't know, I just didn't really go to church.
What was the reaction from your father? What was the reaction from your mother to that decision making there?
I don't know. I don't like my parents aren't together. So like my dad, he doesn't live with us. Like I don't really talk to him like that. And my mom, she knows like I still believe in God. Like I still have that lifestyle, but I just don't really go to church. You know.
And she never says anything about that.
Yeah.